Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be giving you chapter 4.2 today. Sorry about me having to cut it short last week, but I hope you all will enjoy, so sit back and relax. Later that night, Naruto said, "See you later, Kakashi," and Zabuza. At the back of the house, Sai finally said, "Let's go." Sasuke huffed and said okay as they made it into the barrier before it reactivated. As they snuck in, Sasuke said, "I don't remember a house here," as Sai looked at it and it had the Uzumaki, Uchiha, and Senju clan symbols. "What, did Naruto make this?" Sasuke asked. Sai said, "But how?" "Well, my original sensei had his suspicions that Naruto had more than the Kekkei Genkai he said. As far as I know, he has at least two." "That would be," Sasuke asked. Sai says, "lava and metal release. But looking at this, I would say he also has wood release. But why does he have all three founding clans on his house he made?" "Interesting," says Sai. "Well, let's go investigate." As they made their way in the house, they walked past a room and door that was not completely closed, but it was quiet. Sai said and pointed to the room as they saw Hanabi on Naruto just going at it. Sai then went through some hand signs and put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder and disappeared from sight, and was silent because of a seal he brought at the village and said, "Okay, we can talk and walk around freely now." But Sasuke was just watching Hanabi on Naruto and said, "I never knew how great Hanabi's body was. Maybe I could steal her from Naruto. If I tell the council about this, I'm sure Lord Hiashi would be pissed if he knew." Then right before they both climaxed, he saw Naruto's eyes shift into the Sharingan as they both fell in the bed. Sasuke said, "Wait, what? How does he have the Sharingan?" In Sasuke's head, he said he must have stolen them. The council will hear about this as well. In the room, Naruto's clone. "Damn, Hanabi. That was better than last time. If we keep going for round 3, I'll disperse, so why don't we just cuddle and sleep?" Hanabi said, "That's fine, baby. I'm tired anyways." As Sai and Sasuke made their way, then they saw another room and saw Hinata and Hana doing the same thing, but in different positions. Then they came to Mikoto's room as Sasuke heard his mom moan and said no, he couldn't, as he saw Naruto pounding his mother in a younger hinge. As Naruto said, "Are you glad that you took me up on my offer?" And she said yes, in a pant. "But how did you know that I was actually wanting you?" Flashback about an hour ago. Naruto's clone was heading to Mikoto's room, and he activated his Sharingan with his father's Sharingan in the center and saw Mikoto in the room playing with herself and calling Naruto's name, as he thought, "Well, I guess she really does want me. I guess I should just go knock and offer my services to her," and that's the end of the flashback. As she said, "Well, you are a sneaky one, but this was a good preview on what's to come in the future when you make tuning, and I can't wait until then." Naruto then said, "I also have a seal that you can use that will help you stay this age when that happens, if you want." As she nodded, "That will be fine, but what about Sasuke?" Naruto said, "We will have to tell him eventually. But for now, let's just have some fun," as his clone summoned two more as she smiled and said, "Well, this is what the others get every night?" Naruto nodded with a devilish smile on his face and said, "Yes. And you probably won't be able to walk properly tomorrow." She said, "I already can't walk properly. And Fugaku was never this good or kind to me." As the clones made their way to her, one to her mouth and one to her ass, as they started to have some fun, as well as she moaned in ecstasy. As Sasuke saw all of this, his anger just rose and thought to himself, "Well, now I would do the same to him." As he made his way to the last room and saw Naruto and Haku making out and heard Haku, You don't have to do this tonight." As he then said, "Oh yeah, I forgot something," for a little later, as he cut his finger and dripped a little blood, as a white-haired girl came out and said, "I'll just sit over here for now," and watch for her first time, then I'll join later. Besides, you still have a promise to keep with me. As Haku said thank you for letting me do this alone with him for my first time, as she started to undress seductively and walked over to Naruto, as Kurama just walked to the shower to give them two some privacy for this round. This next part is in Lemon, so if you want to read it, you can go over to my Wattpad. I will have it posted in the description. But I will not be putting a lemon onto my channel unless I actually get comments saying that y'all want it. But until then, you have to go read it on my Wattpad. So I said, well, I got my info, so I'm going back to the bridge builder's house, since this type of barrier are made to alarm people sneaking in, not out. You should do the same. As they both leave, Sai activates his Super Beast scroll with the info and send it to Danzo. Next morning at the Leaf. Danzo has received his report on Naruto, and his eyes glistened at hearing that Naruto not only had Will release, but also the Sharingan. Naruto will be mine. I'll mold him into the perfect weapon for myself and Orochimaru. But how to get the council to get him exiled? Oh, I know. I'll be telling Hisashi and Tatsumi about their daughters and getting them pounded by him, and tell the civilian council that he stole the Sharingan. Well, first, the civilian council, so they'll force a council meeting, and then, when he gets back, tell Hisashi and Tatsumi in front of him so that they will try to kill him. Then I'll just say, exile him and have Orochimaru pick him up whenever he's outside the village. 1 hour later. The civilian council. Hey Danzo, why have you called us here? Says Sakuno. He then said, well, I know you want that demon brat out of the village, and I have info that you can use against him. The civilian council said, what is it? Danzo said, well, one of my agents sent me some information that Naruto somehow now has the Sharingan, and you know what that means. Yes, they said, as soon as he gets back, we'll have an council meeting and kicking him out for stealing the Sharingan from one of the dead Uchiha. Back at Naruto's temporary house in the Wave Country, everybody in the house woke up and the clones dispersed. Sometime in the night, as Hana, Hinabi, and Hinata all kissed Naruto good morning and saw how Haku, Kurama, and Mikoto was walking, and all said, welcome to the sisterhood. By the way, how good was he? They all said with a foxy grin. Haku and Mikoto said, well, you all know, very good, all 13 inches. Then Mikoto said, by the way, don't tell anybody else about me. Yet, I was test driving him so I would know what I'm getting myself into when he makes Chunin. Then Haku and Mikoto said, I think he might have turned us like he did you three. As Haku rubbed his stomach as did Kurama. They all smirked, yeah, we heard you last night. And you used the reverse activation on the protection cell, so yeah, you're both probably pregnant. But we're not mad. Actually, we are happy for you. But get as much as you can now, because when you hit your second trimester, you won't be getting any for a while, said Hanabi. Mikoto said, yes, that's right. Now let's get going. 30 minutes later at Tazuna's house. Team 18 walked in with Haku. Tazuna, Kakashi, and Zabuza saw how Haku and Mikoto was walking, and all shook their heads. Zabuza said, what, you couldn't take it easy for her first time? Naruto said, well, I did for her first time, but not the second through 5th round, as Zabuza, Tazuna, and Kakashi just gasped, and said, man, how much stamina do you have? Naruto scratched the back of his head and shrugged. 2 weeks later. Well, I guess we're heading back now. Good luck, Tazuna, Naruto said. Yeah, good luck to you too, brat. By the way, I'm naming the bridge the Great Naruto Bridge. And Naruto just gave him a thumbs up. 2 days later. Finally, we're back at the village. Mikoto, I need to go get something, as she nodded and said, be at the Hokage's tower in 10 minutes. Okay, Naruto said. Oh, Haku, what is your ring size? She said 7. Okay, meet you at the tower. 9 minutes later in front of the Hokage Tower. Naruto says Hinata, Hana, Hanabi, and Haku as he gets on his knees. I know it's a bit late because we've already promised ourselves to each other, but will you marry me? As he presented them all a diamond ring. He then said, Haku, this one is also yours as soon as the Hokage tells us that we are married. And he shows her a solid gold band, as he also had one around his neck. This one is mine. As for you three, after I make tuning, then we'll get married. They all said, okay. Okay guys, I know this episode was a little bit short because it's just the ending of this chapter. I'll do chapter 7 next week. But I just couldn't really do more of the video last week. So I hope you're not disappointed. But this is the Forbidden signing off. See you later.